Good morning and welcome to the latest edition of Main Street from the campus of Muscatine Community College. My name is Dwayne Hopkins. I'm your host this morning, and we are in the local Access Channel 9 studio, which is, it's just a room, folks. That's all it is. Local Access Channel 9. That sounds big and bold, but it's not. As I said, this is just a room with four walls in the corner of a building on the campus of Muscatine Community College. So there you go. Well, you know, I was going to rant a little bit this morning about the mayor, but then I decided, nah, I don't think I will. But I'm changing my mind. I'm going to. I'm going to talk a little bit about, you know, over the past 7 days, the mayor has an array of yard signs out, quite a few actually. But having a yard sign in a person's yard doesn't necessarily mean that person is going to vote for you. But what I've noticed is on top of her yard signs, she's got a little red and white sign that you really have to squint to see what it says, but it says, "That's my mayor." What in the world is that? That's my mayor. Now, I haven't checked the website lately, but 2 years ago, she raised in union funds almost $8,000. And that's how she paid for the yard signs and some advertising on this channel, I believe, as well as others. I'm not sure how much money she's raised this year, but the unions, this little, "That's my mayor"? What in the world is that? Are we that in Muscatine? Do we really need more unions? I mean, let's look at GPC. Oh, sure, unions, come on in. Let's look at HNI. They have never had a union. Do we want unions in there? I don't think so. In any case, I just wanted to rant a little bit, and I'm done ranting, and I feel a whole lot better. So what about on to today's show? Well, my guest today is Director of Facilities with the Muscatine Community School District. His last name is Miller. His father's name, who is deceased, by the way, was Henry Miller. Henry was my baseball coach when I was a little kid. And also, when I was a little kid, I had a paper route, which encompassed most of West 8th Street with a lot of side streets. This young gentleman grew up on the corner of Fuller and Van Horn. He is a member of a very large family. He's got brothers and sisters everywhere. Please join me in welcoming to our show this morning, Main Street, Jeff Miller. Good morning, Jeff. How you doing?
Good, Wayne. Thanks for having me on. It's a pleasure.
A little bit about you. You come from a big family, and I know that.
You said I was going to learn something. I never knew you knew that. I never knew you were a paper boy and delivered to our house.
Well, I grew up on Roscoe Avenue.
Okay.
So the Lazios.
Oh yeah, I'm familiar with the area.
And the Holubecks and oh yeah.
And I never knew you were. My dad was your baseball coach.
That's right.
That's kind of neat. He was a lot of kids' baseball coaches.
Brother Hank was on my baseball team as well. So Hank and I are the same age.
We're going back a ways there.
Well, oh boy, I'm telling you. Well, Jeff, in your capacity as facilities director, I talked about you got to have students, you got to have teachers. In some cases, you got to have coaches and band directors, and that sounds pretty simple to the average person in the general public. But there's a whole lot more to the Muscatine Community School District, as well as other school districts, than those four items. A facilities director. Tell us exactly what that is.
Well, basically what that is, Dwayne, is I'm kind of like the coordinator. I'm the guy out in front of the camera, so to speak, and I have knowledgeable people behind me that are able to take care of the day-to-day issues, the surprises that come up. And it's not only the maintenance department, it's the custodial department. So, you know, you could ask a teacher, they never see us. We're kind of like the ghosts in the room.
Okay.
They know when they come in, all of a sudden that light comes on, or the plumbing works, or, you know. So it's kind of behind the scenes
Oh
things.
boy, you just brought back a kindergarten memory. Teacher, can I go to the bathroom? From back in the old Jefferson school days.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, go ahead.
So the other side of that is they come in the morning and their room is clean. You know, the custodians, the things people don't know about the custodians are they're more than just a custodian. They'll take students, they'll read to students in their free time.
Really?
Yeah, and they get very involved in the students' lives. The custodian is one of the first people, like a bus driver is, that student sees in the morning. And so that's really the long and short of it. Facilities is huge. I also am in charge of, we have this physical education building hopefully going up. The bid opening is Tuesday the 17th.
Oh, that's by the gym at the high school?
Well, it's across the road from by the football field.
Oh, okay.
The road that goes back to my office.
Okay.
And that bid is opening October 17th. Hopefully the bids come in on or under budget so we can.
Oh, you get involved with that bidding process for new facilities.
Yes.
As well.
I work side by side with the architect and the contractor.
I'll be darned.
So it's not just the 13 facilities we have that I oversee, but it's also new construction and summer projects.
Now when you say 13 facilities, what are they? I mean, your office is behind the high school,
right?
Actually, by the rugby field, but that's your office, and you're not there very much.
No, I'm not. I probably spend 2 hours a day in my office. The rest of the time, I am out in the district dealing with issues, making sure things are running well. We have 7 elementaries, we have 2 middle schools, a high school. You have the administration center. You have transportation, and then I do count my facility as one of the facilities.
So that's the 13th.
Yep.
Okay.
So it's a full-time job.
Is it stressful?
Oh yeah, it is. You know, that's one thing is appendage to me. You know, it's always attached.
Now, normally you don't work Saturdays or Sundays?
Oh, I don't have a scheduled day off. I try not to work Saturdays and Sundays.
But the phone rings.
But the phone's going to ring because our facilities are used all the time. High school never sleeps. It's a city within itself.
Really?
Yeah. So you have a lot of outside user groups. Something may happen. We handle all our own snow plowing, all our own grounds. We do everything inside the building that we possibly can, that we're capable of doing. If it's replacing an underground sewer line, obviously we're going to bid that out. We would do pretty much, I would say, 80% of the maintenance on the facilities.
80%? Jeepers. Let's go back to the janitorial staff, which are a group of individuals on their own at least, 10 locations or 11 of the 13?
Well, you have one at transportation. You have one at mine that shares. It's not just one individual there. They break it down. It may only take them 2 hours to clean transportation, and then they'll come over and spend a couple hours on ours because those are smaller facilities with less offices. And then you have a couple individuals at the administration building. So
and let's take Madison School for example. Okay. I just happen to know. One of the janitors there. Are there more than one, or at each of the grade schools and middle schools?
Sure. Each building has a daytime custodian that will come in, open the building up, and work till, depending on if they're coming in at 5 or they're coming in at 6, we'll work to either 1 or 2 in the afternoon. Then we have what we would deem second shift, which would be anywhere from 2:30 to 7 at night at the grade schools, because you have activities there, so they need to be there to unlock and
continue. Are those also the classroom cleaning folks? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
Okay. And let's take the high school, because it's probably the biggest of all the entities that the school system has.
So at the high school, I have one maintenance guy during the day that my maintenance staff will assist if he needs, and then we have one full-time daytime custodian. Then you have second shift that would come in around 2, and you're going to have anywhere from 4 to 5 there. And then you have a third shift because, like I said, it is used so much that there's areas you can't get into until after all the activities are done, say 10, 11 o'clock at night. Swimming, volleyball, basketball, you know, you have drama, you have chorus, concerts, plays. So all that is, you know, it's a working puzzle. But it works pretty good.
So you have a classroom, and at the end of the school day, when the teachers are done using the classroom, a janitor comes in and cleans it.
Yes.
And that's been the system for ever since I was in school anyway. That's interesting. And you have a bus and a driver who could be construed as the teacher, and at the end of the day, the driver cleans the bus. Well, that's a little bit of difference there. Anyway,
and the daytime custodian, not only they'll clean up after lunch. Kids love to make messes.
Amen to that.
Kids sometimes get sick, and there's stuff that they can do during the day. They'll clean the restrooms throughout the day and stuff. So they're busy too.
And how about the maintenance staff? I always see guys on lawnmowers all over town, adjacent to or specific to particular school grounds where there's green grass.
Sure. So the maintenance staff is broken up. I call them techs because they are truly technicians. I have 2 HVAC technicians on staff.
Oh, no kidding.
And you want to talk about a stressful job when it's 20 below out, and our phones receive alarms, so everything is on a computer.
If something drops down a certain temperature?
Right, exactly. Yeah, so wintertime's the most stressful.
Is it?
Sure, because you don't want to freeze something up.
Well, how about those folks, those technicians that cut grass in the summertime? What do they do in the winter?
So what we'll do is I have a head of maintenance, or a head of groundskeeping, Steve Eggers. We'll hire summer help to help mow grass. When the grass stops growing,
so that's pretty much seasonal then.
It's seasonal.
Okay.
Correct. Then I have a on-staff plumber. I have an on-staff electrician. I have an on-staff electronics phone guy. He does phones, all the entry cards and stuff. Takes care of the electronics.
All of the schools and buildings, 13 of your facilities, are all on a phone system offered by a particular vendor, or?
We have different phone systems in the buildings, but we're trying to go to one particular style of phone system. Try and get everything integrated so that it's easier to maintain.
Oh, but now you have multiple systems. Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
We also have an on-staff boiler guy who also takes care of all the food service equipment, and Ed Meinert. So anybody that knows who Ed Meinert is, Ed Meinert probably could have retired 20 years ago, but he continues to work because he loves his job.
Sure. I think I've seen Ed around quite a bit.
He's a character.
Quite a bit, yeah. So you have part-time technicians in the summertime to do the mowing, and in the wintertime, your staff is narrowed down a little bit, probably to address the snow issues, sidewalks, and like the high school has 2 large lots and a lot of street connecting those lots.
On a good snow, it'll take us a full 8 hours after the snow has stopped to get everything opened up. So what we'll do is, everybody probably wonders, how the heck do we decide if we're going to have school or not? Well, I'll work with the superintendent, and I'll work with transportation supervisors, and Jerry will ask where we're at as far as the cleaning goes. What are the roads like? I deal with the city. I deal with the police. We have a phone tree set up so that when it starts snowing or getting slick out, they'll contact my head groundskeeper and say, hey, you may want to have somebody come in. So we're we're not sitting there. They have a third shift out there driving around, so my guys can at least get some sleep, and then they know when that phone call comes, they've got to, you know, get up and go.
Well, I noticed last year, and I'm in a position sort of with the school district too, where I can observe whether we're in school or we're 2-hour delay or 2-hour early out or whatever the case might be that's related to weather. And last year I noticed a significant drop in the 2-hour delays and the no schools today and so forth. We didn't miss a day last year, and if we have the average snowfall this year that we had last year, we probably won't miss any school this year.
No, and I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to shut this down, Dwayne. This is that phone that I was telling you about that rings all the time. I forgot to shut it down. Apologize for that.
That's okay.
Yeah, we did have the last couple of winters have been fairly nice to us, and that helps on our bottom line too, because you save on salt, you save on overtime, you know. So I'm all for easy winters.
Well, when I see one of the 3 Quad City TV stations and the ticker across the bottom that says, well, Davenport West is off today and Davenport Central is off and so forth, yet Muscatine continues to go to class. To me, that's a mark of huge improvement for our system here in Muscatine compared to the Quad Cities.
I think it says a lot about Muscatine County and how they're getting the roads cleared enough so that everybody can travel safely. The last thing we want to do is just have school to be having it. We have to look at the safety factor of the kids. So, yeah, that's huge.
Well, in 5 years, Jeff, from right now, where do you see yourself?
I would like to see myself doing something a little different. Like I said, this is a high-stress job. I love my job. Don't get me wrong. But there's more to it than 24/7, 365. And so I'd say 5 years doing something up in the Quad Cities, maybe mowing grass for a golf course or something.
Really?
Seasonal. Yeah.
You like that outdoor stuff?
I love that outdoor stuff. I'm a warm weather person.
Well, it sounds like you ought to move to Florida, maybe. Then again, maybe not with all the weather they've had.
No, I don't think so.
They've had lately. I don't, Jeff, if you had the ability to stand in front of, well, let's say all of the students, middle school and high school students, not necessarily grade school students, but the middle school and high school students, you had the ability to stand at the platform in front of those folks, what would you say to them to improve themselves and the school district like over the next 4 years?
Well, I think the main thing that you have to relay, and I'm going to put myself in this situation. Coming from a large family, lost my dad at the age of 13. So relatively young. Mom had 7 kids still at home. She had never worked a day in her life. Dad had the family business. She never had her license. So,
really?
So at the age of 13, here is a lady that's got to figure out, how am I going to get through this? She had to learn the family business. And at age 13, I think that's a very volatile age. You can go one way or you can go the other. Well, because of a good upbringing and stuff, I went the other, and hence this is where I am. So there is some truth to saying, look, you can be anything you want. You just have to work at it.
Sure. And
so,
you are a product of your upbringing.
And I would say to the students, you know, respect this building. It's yours. You know, it is your property. It's not just one individual. It's everybody's to use. So 4 to 5 years down the road, you know, leave it the way you found it.
You ever have a parent come to you and say, thanks, I really appreciate what you're doing and what you contribute to the school system?
Yeah, you do hear it. More often than not, you hear what you're doing wrong.
The opposite, yeah. That was going to be my next question. Have you ever had a parent come and get in your face about something that you had no idea what happened?
I bring in other facility directors and stuff because, you know, we internet and connect and see what works. I've taken them around to our facilities, and they're impressed with the way they look. Muscatine ought to be very proud of their schools and the way they look.
Anything else we can do for you or the school system while we have the air here?
Just keep supporting us and understand that we're out there and we're trying.
And before I let you go here, any big changes coming up in the next 12 months other than the building that you were talking about?
Right at this point, our goal is to get this facilities building, this PE building up, and then look at what's the next need. Is it at a grade school or is it at a high school? We've had discussions, but you don't want to throw them out there right now because then people say, hey, they said they're going to do that. And so that's got us in trouble in the past. And so once the PE building comes through, we'll start looking hard and putting the word out, hey, here's the next shoe to drop. Here's where we want to go.
So you just opened up an avenue that's good for discussion too. The school board, the Muscatine Community School Board, are they, in your opinion, are they a creative group of individuals, or are they just the ones that say, okay, or no, we don't want to do that?
No, they're creative. They're involved. They're very involved. So being on the front line, I would take to them and work with Dr. Reby, and say, hey, what do you think about this? Or what do you think? Because you've got to listen to the needs of the teachers, the staffing. Where's the biggest bang for the buck going to help the kids? And so, yeah, the school board we're lucky to have the school board we have.
Are we?
Yes, I think they're an excellent group of people.
There seems to be a pretty good turnover in teachers every year. What's the reason for that?
I can't answer that. I will tell you this. You know you've been there too long, because when I first started, and probably through my first 10 to 15 years, I could walk down the halls and I'd know every teacher.
Sure.
I walk down the halls now and I'm going, is that a student or is that a teacher?
That's a good point. From what I do for the school district, I ask myself that question every day. So, well, Jeff, again, it's been our pleasure having you on to sort of enlighten my audience here just a little bit about what the community school district does. And again, it's not just teachers, students, football coaches, basketball coaches, band directors, whatever. There's an array of activities that are educational related, show choir, chorus, and so forth, that are offered at the middle schools as well as at the high school. And you're an intricate part of that whole process and moving students forward. And that's pretty important, keeping the student in mind all the time.
Most definitely, Dwayne. Most definitely.
So,
I appreciate you having me on so I can kind of spread what we do, because like I said, we are kind of the ghost in the background. Nobody knows, how do they do that? So.
Well, at least you don't have to mow the grass on the rugby field.
No, we do not.
So, that's a good thing. Well, folks, we've had a good time today. Please stay tuned in 2 weeks. I don't know who we'll have on. It gets right down to the last minute, and I forget to call people, and sometimes, but if you want to be on this show and talking about an event or something that you've got coming up, you're more than welcome to. You can call me at 299-8600, or you can call Chad Bishop, whose phone number I don't have right now, which is 288-6070. 288-6070. That comes directly from Chad Bishop. So stay tuned, and we'll see you in 2 weeks right here on Main Street.